Thus far, our analysis of men's social investment has centered around forming relationships with women and any consequential children that might result. This is only natural because for all of human existence, loving someone and forming a family with them is what ultimately gave everyone purpose and meaning in life. But as many men retreat or are rejected from this part of life, they've been forced to look elsewhere to find a reason to live. And whereas one would like to think men, unencumbered by women or children, would go off to do great things like other famous bachelors such as Beethoven, Tesla, Thomas Edison, and the Wright brothers, unfortunately, most men have done the opposite, pursuing lives of sloth, gluttony, defeatism, and vice instead. Much of this can be ascribed to natural human laziness, where if given the choice, slothful men will choose not to work if they don't have to. But there's also an undeniable component of shutting down, where if men see nothing to gain from participating in society, they'll go into a hibernation or stasis to conserve energy until there is reason to invest. But regardless of how men come to this point of inaction, it's still inaction, resulting in absolutely zero societal participation, as well as a wasted, tortured life. One where men simply exist, doing only the bare minimum to keep themselves alive, where their only motivation in life is to avoid pain rather than achieve greatness or pleasure. First, without a work ethic, men aren't just going to avoid the office, they're also going to avoid the gym. 70% of young men are overweight, while 77% of all men are the same, destroying both their health and their love lives. This also hampers their ability to enjoy competitive sports, athletics, and outdoor recreation, normal pastimes that functionally healthy men would participate in. It also very likely leaves many women sexually frustrated, as being fat is gross. Second, with no real reason to live, vice has become a substitute for real human experience. Be that fattening food, alcohol, or a wide array of drugs, both prescribed, legal, and illegal, all forms of drug use have boomed among young men, becoming the primary focus of their lives. And while ostensibly men engage in vice to get high or have fun, more often than not, it's to avoid the pain and boredom of their miserable, pointless lives. This further mollifies and inebriates men into inaction, ensuring they participate in society even less. Third, escapism. Though video games and porn are certainly vices, they serve a unique purpose in replicating what men would have had in evolutionary times past: purpose and procreation. Yes, Karen in HR may have hired a lesser qualified female over you for a job, but you can still imagine yourself having value in life, landing on Omaha Beach in World War II, playing Call of Duty 27. Sure, 1,500 girls on a dating app all shot you down, but you can blissfully imagine a porn star like Brandy Love as your loving, stay-at-home, sex-addicted trophy wife. You can even pay any one of a number of webcam girls to fake being your digital girlfriend, none of the above requiring you to make an effort or leave the home. In the end, men spend about 8 hours a week playing video games, and surprisingly, only 2 hours a week consuming porn. But that's still 10 hours less, an equivalent to a part-time job men spend at the gym, at the office, in church, on a rowing team, chasing girls, or otherwise participating in society. Fourth, with the majority of their time spent indoors and online, men can potentially enter a downward spiral where they further retreat from the real world, the risks of which are not only further ostracization from society, but supplanting a real life in the real world with a toxic life in a toxic digital world. Be it wasting your time on social media, becoming a news junkie, or wasting hours on pointless forums, men and women are rotting their minds with synthetic digital lives instead of healthy real ones. Worse, in having no reason or purpose in life, many people are tempted by childish and often radical political ideologies online, which they make the philosophical center of their lives. Be that communism, social justice, environmentalism, veganism, feminism, animal rights, trait-based politics, anarcho-communism, yes, look it up, Libertarian socialism, yes, look that one up too, fat acceptance, UBI, gender politics, misogyny, and misandry, these people are lashing out at anyone but themselves for the miserable lives they lead. And the internet will provide the political rationalization for them to do so. Sadly, angry, envious, radicalized people tend to be eschewed by the rest of society, forcing these people to retreat further into their increasingly inward, tortured lives. And finally, mental illness. Shocking as this may be, but staying indoors all day, shooting up booze, pot, Adderall, and kratom, consuming Fox News, CNN, porn, and radical YouTube videos, only to pause for a 12-hour binge of playing video games while living on a steady diet of Mountain Dew and Doritos as you vape to be edgy with your tatted-up friends, telling them for the 87th time you're a pansexual vegan, tends to lead to mental illness. And even if you're the type to fake having a mental illness because it gives you an identity, you most certainly will have a legitimate case of it now, because you cannot live the life above and come out of it mentally unscathed. Like drug use, look up any statistic on mental health, and you will see it worsening at all levels for men and women. Unfortunately, being mentally ill essentially makes it impossible to participate in the real world, because you have to be sane, you have to be mentally healthy to do so. But by this time, it's such a helpless situation, men will likely permanently remain in this antisocial state. Their innate human laziness, combined with no social incentive, prevents them from building a life in the real world. The comforts of drugs, vice, and sloth, along with an artificial internet world, keep them in the fake one. Radical ideologies provide them the rationalization as to why they should never leave, oftentimes being confirmed by what the real world is saying of men, which only furthers the cycle of men retreating inward as they double down on this miserable world. But no human mind can survive this state for long, and invariably goes into terminal decay. And so most will continue to atrophy mentally while they suffer this miserable, lonely, drug-dazed, hate-filled life until they die. Some even committing suicide as the ultimate act of not participating in society. But regardless of how close men are to this antisocial event horizon, this black hole of insular, purposeless, vice-addled misery is tragically another reason men are not participating in society. Not because they necessarily enjoy it, but because in their minds, it's actually better than what the real world is offering them.